Well, I make people in nature identical because as organisms and as something alive, nature is alive and we're alive. And so therefore the aliveness is identical. And if you start getting further into it as to what aliveness means or identity means, I start getting into what is the essence of nature, and can we find that essence in ourselves, because then that makes us more identical. And in nature, the essence is that there's some kind of a way of knowing or relating, or an intelligence that pulls things together, unifies them, and produces a homeostatic organism, or something that acts like an organism on a planetary level. And what I identify that as is being natural attraction energies. And no matter what you look at, if you look at the essence of it, it's being held together. You put the word thing on something, but if you look at what that thing is, being held together by natural attraction. We're a thing. We're a natural attraction. Atoms are natural attraction relationships. Subatomic particles, and even the galaxies are all attractions. So you could say there's a galaxy there. The motion of the galaxy is something which is being attracted to move that way. And I take it all the way back to the Big Bang, and saying that attraction started coalescing and making nature, and nature found it attractive to make us as well as everything else. And so really what we have is this essence of nature in nature and flowing through us. And there's all kinds of evidence that every 5 to 7 years, every molecule, every cell, every atom in us is replaced. So we're just this continuity. And so that makes nature in us and nature outside of us exactly the same. And there's lots of other examples of that. Almost 10 times more foreign cells in us than there are human cells in us, and body weight, and it's all mixed up. Even our genetics, almost 50% of our genetics is plant genetics. So that's the identity. And therefore, what the big question is, why does anyone ever think that we're not identical? And what comes up is what we're doing now by speaking about being identical, but not actually feeling and being identical, abstracting it into language, into stories that tell about this. That nature doesn't do. It doesn't have a story world or a literate world. It just, if it's attracted, it puts it together. And if we abstract it, we lose the value and the intelligence, the cooperation, the integrity of nature itself by just saying, oh, I know what nature is, and I know what differences is, and I know all that. But we're not catching and bringing it into mind and into our thinking what that is, and that's really these senses. So what our work does is bring people into nature, activate that, get it so energized that it comes into consciousness, and we start thinking based on what's coming out of that attraction, and that puts the whole thing together. And even when we do that, as long as we accept it and it's not rejected by some story in us, we're getting closer and closer to thinking like nature works. And that's what the object of this is, because nature doesn't produce the kind of problems that we're producing and the suffering from the dysfunctions or disorders that we produce. That in this work, that comes from the disconnection of not being our biological cells actually entering our thinking and then acting out from the combination thoughtfully.